Chapter 4.8, Comparing and Ordering Fractions. Your vocabulary for today is the least common denominator, which is the same as the LCM, the least common multiple, only working with the denominators of two fractions. So why do we need to find the least common denominator? Well, if we're comparing fractions, we need to have the denominators be the same. If I wanted to compare 3 apples and 15 grapes, and I ask you which is the most fruit, well, I don't know, 3 apples and 15 grapes, those aren't the same size. They're not really the same shape either, so I need to make them more similar. With fractions, we do that by finding the least common denominator. So let's take a look at example number 1. Compare 5/6 and 3/4. When I mean compare, using the greater than, less than, or equal to symbols in order to compare the two fractions. To compare these, I need to find the least common denominator of 6 and 4. You can use prime factorization, or you can use a list. They're fairly small numbers, so I'm going to use a quick list. So I have 6, 12, 4, 8, 12. I know the least common denominator will be 12. So I need to, step 1, convert both fractions into twelfths. 3/4. So 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times 2 is 10, so 5/6 equals 10/12.
Hello.
Times 3, 3 times 3 is 9, so I have 9/12. So now that I've converted, I'm going to come down here again. 10/12 and 9/12. Notice I leave space for my symbol. Well, 10/12 is greater than 9/12, so therefore 5/6 is greater than 3/4. Cautionary tale, you need to make sure that you leave your fractions in the same order all the time. So if 5/6 and 10/12, you need to make sure that you have those on the same side of your sign. If you switch them around, then your inequality sign will be mixed around also. So just be careful about that. All right, example number 2. The old saying, measure twice, cut once, is a useful motto for tailors to remember, or anyone who's cutting anything. A tailor needs fabric that is at least 6 and 27/32 inches wide. Is a piece that is 6 3/4 inches wide enough? So I need to compare 6 and 27/32 with 6 and 3/4. Well, since the whole numbers are the same, I don't really need to worry about those. I really only need to compare the fractions. So 27/32 and 3/4. Well, I need a least common denominator because fourths and 32nds are not the same, but I know that 4 goes into 32. If I multiply by 8/8, I get 24/32. Well, unfortunately, 27/32 is greater than 24/32, so no. The fabric is not wide enough. Now, you would think it's only 3/32. That's not that much, but it's not wide enough. Your quick check refers back to this original problem and asks, is a 6 7/8 inch piece of fabric wide enough? It is asking, this is what you need, is 6 7/8 inches wide enough? So please make sure you refer back to this example problem. Okay, example 3, ordering numbers from least to greatest. So here I have, excuse me, 1 2/3, 2/5, 1 7/9, and 1/4. Well, I can group these together. I know that 2/5 and 1/4 are both less than 1, and I know that 1 2/3 and 1 7/9 are both between 1 and 2. So I'm going to work just with my pairs. Let's start with my numbers less than 1. So 2/5 and 1/4. I need to find out which is smaller. Well, the least common denominator of 4 and 5 is 20. So I need to convert them both. 2/5 times 4/4 equals 8/20. And 1/4 times 5/5 is 5/20. Well, 8/20 is greater than 5/20, so 1/4 is smaller. So I have the first two digits, or the first two numbers to my answer. 1/4 and then 2/5. So now I'm going to work with 1 2/3 and 1 7/9. 1 2/3, 1, did it again. 1 7/9. Since the whole number 1 is still the same, I'm just going to work with the fractions. Well, I know that 2/3, 3, and 9, 9 is the least common multiple, so I'm going to convert that 2/3 into ninths. 6/9 is less than 7/9, so 1 2/3 is less than 1 7/9. So I can finish out my problem. 1 2/3 and 1 7/9. So notice that your answer uses the original fractions from the problem in the answer. I want you to use the original fraction, not the converted fraction. You're only going to convert the fractions in order to determine which of the original fractions is larger or smaller than the other. So please make sure that your original answer, or your answer, has the original fractions in it. Okay? All right, that is it for your examples. Please complete your quick checks and your CYU, and we will go over this the next time I see you.